Have you noticed that everything in the world is getting a little bit louder nowadays? Everyone's constantly complaining about something or other. Everyone's just mad about something. You don't have a reason to be angry? Just make one up. Find one. People on the internet are consistently arguing with one another, hating each other, doxing, killing. It's a very miserable world we live in nowadays. Not only this, but everyone tries to find a way to make it political. But it's fine, because at the end of the day, we have movies. Movies are a great way to free ourselves from the horrible world that we live in. Today, let's talk about the Donald Trump movie. The Apprentice, starring Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, and Maria Bakalova, has finally hit the big screen after all these months of controversy, news, complaints, arguments. Is it any good? Is it worth all of the discourse that it's actually caused? Yeah, it's alright. It's probably important to talk about some of the behind the scenes stuff. Last week, Trump actually put out on his app Truth Social, or whatever the hell it's called, and described the movie as a fake and classless movie written about me called The Apprentice. Do they even have the right to use the name without my approval? It will hopefully bomb. It's a cheap, defamatory, and politically disgusting hatchet job put out right before the 2024 political election to try and hurt the greatest political movement in the history of our country. Okay, let's try not get very political into this, but obviously he's a bit of an idiot. Sebastian Stan went on to speak about this and said that he should be thankful for the film. It's just like a bit stupid. I will tell you my favorite part about all the behind the scenes issues with this movie. Now, you may be sitting there thinking, who's the biggest loser of all this? Donald Trump has a movie about him that doesn't paint him in an excellent portrayal. There's then Roy Cohn, who also is very clearly evil, and I mean, he can't really argue much against the film because he is dead. At the end of the day, there is the director, Ali Abbasi, Sebastian Stan, Jeremy Strong, Maria Bakalova, who are in this movie that, to be quite honest, it's not going to make a lot of money. It's going to probably bomb. So who's the real loser? And I'll tell you, the biggest loser of all this is Dan Snyder. Let me tell you a little bit about him. He's a friend of Trump's, and he actually donated $1.1 million to the inaugural committee and Trump victory in 2016, and then he eventually put another $100,000 into his 2020 presidential campaign. However, after all this, he decided, oh, a movie about Trump, this must paint him in a good image. Let me put some money towards that. The money's undisclosed on how much he actually put towards it, but obviously he wasn't very happy when he saw the movie at Cannes and realised, oh my god, what have I done? This portrays my friend in a very awful light. But aside all of that, let's talk about the actual film. Now, it follows Trump when he's very young. He's eager to make his name. He eventually comes across Roy Cohn, a cutthroat lawyer who decides to take Trump under his wing and try to make him a better version of himself. You could call him his apprentice. Eventually, this goes on to him meeting Ivana, him making Trump Tower, buying the hotel. There's a lot of stuff, but thankfully, the film never progresses past 1986. You don't get President Trump. There is, of course, a few jokes towards it, a few nods. There isn't anything directly involving his presidential campaign or any of the Trump stuff in the past decade, because that would make the movie, in my opinion, incredibly ting. Why would I want to watch a movie about that now? I'm living through the hellhole that is his presidential campaign. The look of the film I have to compliment a lot firsthand. Casper Tuxen is very great at creating an atmosphere, and obviously they want to try and recreate that 1970s aesthetic, and that straight off the bat is perfectly done. You also have a pretty great score, and for once in my life I can say good music choices. None of these feel out of touch. It will absolutely destroy how you listen to the song Yes Sir I Can Boogie. Performance wise, I think Sebastian Stan is a pretty great Trump. He doesn't go too far into the Trump that we know today with his voice, but you can still recognize that he is definitely trying to portray Trump, and I think it comes across pretty well. Same goes for Maria Bakalova. I don't know too much about Ivana Trump, but I think she gets the message across of what type of person she was. She isn't in the film all that much, but she definitely leaves her mark. I have to give the praise to Jeremy Strong, who quite frankly steals the show. Donald Trump's mad about this film being released, but if he should be mad about something, it should be the fact that the film all about him was outshined by Roy Cohn, or Jeremy Strong's Roy Cohn. He steals every scene he's in, he dominates the frame. Anytime he's there, you're just paying attention to him. If you've seen Succession, you probably go into this being a big fan of Strong already, but when you leave, you're going to be double that fan, and I think he's best suited for this role. I couldn't picture anyone else playing Roy Cohn after seeing this. I think the most important thing about The Apprentice, though, is it humanizes Trump, which is something that they've been saying from the start. If you're not in support of MAGA or Trump, you're going to walk into this and be like, I'm not going to like it, I'm going to hate this, why would I be watching this? The film portrays him as a real life person, and you feel for him a little bit throughout. A lot of the stuff to do with his brother, his family, you understand that, but obviously at the end, this is essentially Ali Abbasi's Frankenstein. It's the creating of a monster. It's not witnessing a monster from the start. That's why I think The Apprentice is worth your time. It's not just another sleazy biopic like that Dennis Quaid Reagan movie. It's trying to do something a bit different, and it's trying to show a light of this character that you wouldn't even imagine existed. Especially the way that he acts now. Is The Apprentice for everyone? Probably not, especially people that are heavy into the Trump stuff. Or maybe it is for them. They see this king and his rise and glory, but honestly, I couldn't speak for them because I'm not one of them. I don't even get to vote in that country, so who am I to say? But to me, I think The Apprentice is a pretty great time, and I think it shows the true making of a disgusting, miserable, horrific monster. So check it out.